Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shed Show. Glad to have you with us. I'm out here in the garage early this morning. I'm drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. But this morning I thought we'd talk about I'm all out of coffee. I come here to talk and drink coffee, and I'm all out of coffee. So it's time to start talking, ranting and raving. I thought this morning we'd talk about why is Advance Auto Parts failing. I'm sure you've heard they've closed something like 523 corporate stores and 204 independently owned locations. And I'm a car enthusiast, as you might, if you know me, you know that. I buy these old cars and fix them up and stuff, and Advance Auto Parts is close to me here, so that's my go-to place. And I hate to see them go. I don't think my location is closing down, but I hate to see them go. And I thought I would talk about why, in my opinion, they're failing. And there's a few different reasons, in my opinion, and in no certain order, here they are. One of the reasons is, of course, online. You've got a lot of online stores, think Rock Auto, stuff like that, where the stuff is just cheaper. And I'm a type of guy who I'd rather buy local. And when I'm working on a car project, man, I'm intense. I'm wanting to get this thing, I got to get it going. I got to get it going. And, if I just need just one little thing to get it going, I feel like I just run down here and get it, even if it costs twice as much for the part. But when it's a $25 part, and everybody has experienced this, if you mess around with these old cars and stuff, a lot of times it's a part online you can get for $25. You say, well, it can't be too much. Well, you go down to the Advance, or a lot of these other places too, it's $125. And I know people that work down there at the Advance Auto Parts, and they get sick of hearing it. You'll be in there, and somebody will be wanting something, you're waiting, and they'll say, well, yeah, we can get you this with a lifetime warranty or whatever, and it's $160. I'm like, they're only $60 online. They get sick of hearing that. But it's true. And when you're my age, I'd sooner just go down and get the stuff. And maybe I don't know about what's online. I'm almost 60 years old. So, but still, everybody has a smartphone. And if you don't even have to look it up. If you're sitting there and you think, man, I'm gonna have to buy some new tires for my car, you just tell your buddy, I'm gonna have to buy some tires for this thing, before I get it on the road. Well, your phone hears that. Well, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but your phone hears it, and in a couple of hours, you look at your phone, it's gonna say, hey, you need some 205 7514. Huh? Because it knows. It even knows what size you got. So whether you ask your smartphone or not, it's going to tell you. It's going to be throwing these things at you. It's going to be shopping these things to you, whether you ask it or not. So you already know. You don't have to, look it up. So, there's that. The online stuff. Many times I have been looking at parts. Maybe the parts stores is closed, and I'm in bed and I'm looking on my smartphone. Saying, well, I need this and this. You start looking at these prices. You're like, okay, that won't be too bad. And then you go down there the next day to the parts store. You're like, mercy sakes, and forget about looking at and they're all like this, but Advances is about as bad. If you're looking there in particular on their site for parts, Lord help you, because it'll just steer you over here and over. You're like, we don't have that, but how about this? Or it shows you stuff. I need a turn signal flasher. Oh well, for a '74 Dodge, and they'll be showing. Well, here's here's an alternator for a Toyota RAV4. You're like, well, what? I don't, I'm looking for a flasher. I don't need an alternator for a Toyota. And it just, so it's hard. Anyway, you go down there, you call down there and see if they've got it, blah, blah, blah. And it's a mess. And then also you have local competition. Maybe just the regular average Joe who doesn't work on cars all the time. Let's go down there and get an oil change and stuff for my wife's car. And you go down here and it's $8 a quart for the house brand, and then on up from there. and then it's 10, 15, $20 for an oil filter. And you say, well, I'm going to throw an air filter in there while I'm at it. I'm going to do this pretty, well, it's $100. It's $100 before it's over with to do an oil change yourself. But you can go to, and people figure out pretty quick, you can go down to Walmart or Rural King if you have one in your area, and you can get this oil for about half the price, and maybe the filter and stuff like that. It's just a whole lot cheaper to buy it. Go ahead and stock up while you're at Walmart or while you're at Rural King. So that kills that. Another thing, batteries. If you fool around with these old cars much, like I have, about 9 times out of 10 when you buy one of these old junkers, the battery's bad. Battery's not included, or they're included, but they're probably not very good. So you end up having to buy a battery. And Advance, I don't think they have a car battery that's under $200 now. But you can go to Rural King. I just bought one for this old Dodge mine. It was like $60. I'm like, is this even in the right slot here? Is that right? Yeah, $60. People say, well, those Rural King batteries, they're not as good as the Die-Hard that Advance is carrying now. But for a quarter of the price, I'll buy 3 of them. They'll last a little while, probably last longer than the car. That's the online presence of other competing online stores. That's one factor. Another thing that I think that aggravated me about Advance when they started this 3 or 4 years ago, whenever they started it, was the rewards program. And if we go back and think about another failed business, was Kmart. And if you remember at the last, Kmart would just, hey, you've got this loyalty rewards program. You want to sign up for that? You're like, no. And they were just about as bad as Harbor Freight. Are you sure? Because you can save, you're going to save all this money? I'm like, no. And they just about wouldn't let you go, wouldn't let you buy anything if you didn't sign up for their rewards program, loyalty program. And younger people is probably, they go for that stuff. Old guys like me, you're like, no, I don't want to give you my phone number and all this crap, because number one reason I don't like that stuff is because you want me to sign up for it so bad. If I say, hey, you want a cup of coffee? And you go, no, thanks. Oh, come on, have a cup of coffee. And you're like, no, I'm good. And I just keep on, come on, cup of coffee, come on, here, have a drink. No, really, this is good coffee. It's gonna make you feel a whole lot better. Go ahead and have a drink. And I just keep pushing on. The more I keep pushing it on you, the less you can be like, what's in this coffee? Why do you want me to have this coffee so bad? So that was one thing that was real pushy about it. And it's just a bunch of bull. I spent tens of thousands of dollars at Advance Auto Parts over the years. And I bet you, I think at one time they said, well, if you did this, and they figured it up, and I'm friends with those guys in there, and I like every one of them, guys and gals. They figured it up, and if I, using this stuff all, you bought, I think it was $60,000 worth of stuff I bought over the years down there. We'd knock $5 off a $200 battery. I'm like, I don't want to fool with all that, man. I'm working on a car, I'm aggravated. I just want to go down there and get my parts real quick and head back to the house. I don't want to give you my number and well, it was this much and now it's that much, and do all these hoops and twisting and turning and everything just give me the price and forget about that. And on Advance is on their side of it, those reward programs stuff, they cost money. Everything costs something. So they spend a lot of money promoting this, and the little key fobs and the cards and the keeping track of all this crap and all this. That costs money. Forget about that. You know who doesn't have the rewards program and all this crap? Walmart. They're just, here's the price. About cheap as we can. We're trying to, just about cheap as we can get it. Probably about cheap as you're going to find it anywhere. Here it is. No rewards program, no nothing. Don't want to know your number. You don't have to have a special card. Here it is. We're selling it to everybody for this price. So, in my opinion, they need to kind of follow along with that business model. Just cheap, no questions asked. Here it is. That's it. But that's another reason why I think they're not doing too good. Quit fooling with that. The heck with that business. And a lot of stuff that's probably not their fault, is there have been so many cars. I remember back in the 80s, you just go down here to the local parts guy and say, hey, I need a Mopar starter. Well, they're all the same. Every daggone one of them, they just go back there, they knew what it was, or I need a Chevy alternator. Okay. So, and they're all the same. Now, it is, I sympathize with the fact it's hard to keep in stock, cars from the stuff for cars from the 60s and 70s, those starters and alternators I was talking about, ballast resistors, coils. I need a 12 volt coil with an external resistor, or I need a 12 volt coil that doesn't take an external resistor, or I need a 5/16 inline fuel filter or a 3/8 inline fuel filter. And what's it for? And I'm not going to go there, but it's hard to stock all of the different parts for all these cars. They can't stock a master cylinder for my old Dodge here and one for a 2005 Toyota Camry. Yeah, I mean, they can't keep it all. They don't have a humongous warehouse, so a lot of the stuff they've got to order. And what happens is when you, or with me anyway, they say we don't have it, but we can order it. And my mind goes, well, I can order it, and if I order it, they're going to bring it to me at my house and lay it at my feet. The FedEx guy is, and it's going to be a quarter of the price. So, there again, it factors back into the online stuff, but really, they can't stock everything. But the stuff that they do stock, like the oil and the light bulbs and the fuses and stuff like that, keep that down cheap. Wipers, windshield wipers, for crying out loud. How much you want to spend on windshield wipers? Well, the sky's the limit. Again, you can go to Walmart or some of these discount places and just get a regular old cheap set of wipers, or you can go down to Advance and they're $20 a piece. So it's just the price. They kind of price themselves out of business. And I think O'Reilly's tries to directly compete with them. I heard that there was some friction there. They try to, they're trying to hammer them out of business. And usually, there's O'Reilly's here pretty close by too. If I price something from Advance, I got to have it today. If I call O'Reilly's, they usually have a better chance of having what I need, and it's usually cheaper. And then Advance says, well, we'll price match. Well, I don't have to go. Again, there's more hoops. I don't have to go, well, here, look, I'll show you. I got, okay, well, I don't have to go through all that. I just want to come down here. I want to know that it's the cheapest I'm going to get it anywhere and not have to go through a bunch of rewards programs and trying to get, compare. Here's other places cheaper. I'll price match with them. I don't have to do all that. Just boom, let's get it done. But that's a couple of the reasons I think that they failed. And which this is something, again, they can't help. And I think everybody's suffering from is the quality of their parts. Everything I've used to buy only, and I still do. If I'm working on Chevy, I buy only AC Delco stuff. But when you get it, I'll be darned. I mean, you get the cheap stuff, and you look at it, it's made in China. I bought a distributor cap for a Suburban I had, and it was one of the Vortec motors, the corrected caps where they're like this. And they're hard to put on. I wanted to get a good one. So I had a cheap Chinese one, and I put it on there, and it failed. So I said, well, I want an AC Delco. Well, they had to order it. And then they got it, and I got them both. And I'm telling you, I couldn't tell the difference in them. And the AC Delco one, it was made in China. So, and, I'm not griping too much about Chinese parts. A lot of people gripe about them, but they're about as good as anything now, sometimes. But a lot of their stuff, I went through 4 alternators on my truck from Advance. I said, something's going on here, before I finally gave up and bought one from AutoZone, and it's still on there. But I mean, they just failed one after another. The bearings went out of one. They just quit charging. This is for like a 91 Chevy. So this is not, some old 1973 old alternator. This is the newer stuff, And so the quality of their parts, a lot of people, that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. You know, you just have to go down there and just return the parts all the time because they was going bad, and nobody wants to fool with that. So, but you know, that wasn't hardly their fault. But the higher prices, I mean, you got to get those down somewhere. And this is something I hate to have a "I told you so" moment, but the people that work down there, I've told them 2 or 3 years ago. I said, "Man, these prices are crazy." A buddy of mine that works down there, I've known him for years. I told him, I said, "Man, this is crazy," and I'm not, you know, I was sincere. I'm like, I'm not griping about the prices so much as the harbinger of what is going on here. I said, this place is not going to last. I hate to see you go, just like I started this video. So I hate to see them go. I hate to see you guys go, but this is not sustainable. They can't charge, you know, if something is $25 online, you can't charge $125 for it. People just won't buy it. I mean, I'm not well to do, but I've got a little bit of money I can just throw away. But I'm not going to have it if I keep buying stuff like that. You know, people just won't do it. A lot of people just can't afford to do it, and the other people are you know, use have a little bit of sense about them. Say, no, I'm not. I'm going to save $100 here and wait a week, get it online. But you know, I told them this is not sustainable. You're not going to be able to do this and you know, the rewards program's not helping you out any. You know, loyalty. We come back here, man. You don't save any money on that. You know, you don't get it. Being in a rewards program doesn't bring the prices down to what you can get stuff online for, and just have it delivered at your door. But that's something that like I say, I hate to see them go, but I believe they're going to go if they don't change their ways and have a whole different business model. Change everything completely. Change their business model. It's kind of like when fat people want to lose weight. They can, well, we're going to just cut out pop and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to cut out pop or soda, depending on where you're from. That helps out a little bit. But if you're prone to be overweight, like I am, you're going to have a change of lifestyle that is permanent. You can't just, I'm going to lose 20 or 50 pounds and then go back to eating like I was. No, you're going to have to change the way you eat forever. I know a few friends of mine that were overweight in their younger years, and they, you know, went on a diet. And they're eating grilled chicken and stuff like that now, and they've been doing it for years. I'm like, hey, let's go eat this or that. I'm like, nah, I brought I already, you know, do my meals here, and they're still eating celery, and I'm like, daggone, man, ain't you off that diet? It's like, I can't get off of it. If I do, I gain, you know, 50, 100 pounds right back. So this is a lifestyle change. So that's kind of what, in my opinion, Advance has to do. Completely change the way they do things. And closing 600 stores that's not a good sign. They don't do that unless they have to. So, and they do a lot of, I've kind of researched this a little bit for a minute or two, you know, and I see, well, the CEO says, you know, we're completely restructuring our blah, blah, blah. And it pretty well parroted what was happening with Sears and Kmart's here a few years ago. Well, we're restructuring, we're doing this, we're doing that. Now, you know, you're just closing stores because you're losing money, you're hemorrhaging money. That's all there is to it. So that's that. That's this morning's rant. If you can think of any other reasons why you think Advance Auto Parts is failing, and or any other places like that, please leave it in the comments below. And it's been good talking to you here this morning. And thank you for bearing with me during this ranting and raving. And I think I'm going to go get some more coffee.